Now at 10 o'clock this Saturday night, the Boulder View Fire continuing to burn in the far northeast valley. The fire forcing folks to flee their homes, but good news tonight. Arizona Forestry has now shifted evacuation orders back to set, which means that folks can now return back to their homes. That fire is burning north of Scottsdale and just east of Carefree, and so far has scorched more than 3,700 acres, and tonight is now 19% contained. Arizona Forestry officials telling 12 News they are working to improve fire lines and monitor heat within the interior of that blaze. Homeowners tonight say they are thankful that resources have been pouring in to help them and their animals displaced by the flames. The community organization Arizona Foothills 911 has been heading up this big effort.
This one was truly major because it started in the middle of the night, and so evacuation started at 1 o'clock in the morning.
How many families have you been able to help so far?
Here we've had over 30 families here, but we've also sent families to a lot of other places, so I'd say we have communicated and done things with over 150 families.
Organizers say they have seen an overwhelming amount of support from volunteers, not just here, but from across the state and out of state, including Miss Earth USA from Wisconsin and Team Miss Earth USA from Texas. Meanwhile, tomorrow marking a solemn day. It will be 11 years since the deaths of 19 Granite Mountain hotshots. They died while fighting the Yarnell Hill wildfire. Their crew was cut off from their escape route. Only one of them made it out alive. That fire also destroyed 129 buildings and homes. The fire was started by lightning 2 days earlier, then quickly spread because of strong monsoon winds. During this wildfire season, get up-to-the-minute alerts about fires burning across Arizona with the 12 News app. Just scan the QR code on the right side of your screen and you'll be directed to that download. You can also find more information right now at 12news.com/wildfires. Meanwhile, the hot and humid conditions definitely not helping that firefight tonight. Let's get you ready for the start of your Sunday. Meteorologist Ginger Jeffries here tonight with your weather impact forecast. Hey, Ginger.
Jonathan, I know you can feel it today as temperatures got up above the normal range. Even at 10:04 at night, we're holding at 106 because we've got so much moisture overhead. We're not allowing the atmosphere to clear off like we typically would when we are dealing with a dry heat. But of course, to compound the heat, we've got wind to talk about. So what's the wind looking like tonight? I really want you to focus on this area because that's where we've got some moisture moving on in. As that happens, we'll see a little response from the wind, but it doesn't look like anything over about 10 to maybe 15 miles an hour in the show low area. So what does this mean? Well, the wind isn't the biggest impact for us, at least not over the next 24 hours. I think it's the monsoon moisture. And check this out. Our monsoon meter is pumping up to a 3 tomorrow for the valley because of these isolated showers. Southeast portions of Arizona already feeling that impact. In fact, right here, you see that little brown box? National Weather Service just posting a dust advisory for southeastern areas near Tucson because as the outflow from this thunderstorm activity comes in, it could be kicking up some dust and dirt. This is a scenario that I've got for the metro area tomorrow. Details coming up in my full forecast. Jonathan.
All right, Ginger, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you. Right now, Glendale police trying to piece together a shooting that left one teen shot and a second one in custody at the Westgate Entertainment District overnight. 12 News journalist Jade Cunningham learning it's not the first incident at the venue.
It was a busy Saturday here at Westgate Entertainment District. There were plenty of people here enjoying the restaurants and other businesses and shops. But last night it was a different scene. Glendale police say around 10 p.m. their officers received a report of a shooting near the Yard House restaurant. A boy, they say, was shot and taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Officers also say they found a suspect in a nearby parking lot who was later arrested for various weapons charges in relation to this incident. Both involved are not being identified at this time because officers say they are both juveniles. This is not the first time something like this has happened either. We did some research and found at least 9 shootings at Westgate in the past 4.5 years. The most notable was back in May of 2020 when Armando Hernandez shot 3 people. Glendale police say the 20-year-old admitted to the shooting and that he had been bullied and wanted to gain respect. In July of 2022, he was sentenced to 44 years in prison. We spoke with several people out in this area today. Most told us they weren't surprised to hear about what happened last night and that it's definitely starting to change the way they view this place.
It's something that I factor in coming here every day, and take that into consideration. When I think of Westgate now, I think it's more known as like a dangerous area and stuff, honestly.
I only heard of it last night because somebody was like, oh, it happened again. I don't know how many times it's happened, But the fact that it's happened that much and that at this like same location, it just makes you wonder like what's going on.
Now, we reached out to the PR firm representing Westgate Entertainment District about what happened last night. They referred us to the Glendale Police Department. The police department just releasing what they could about their investigation into last night's shooting. They did say, though, that if you have any information about what happened, you can reach out to them by calling 623-930-3000. We are in Glendale. Jay Cunningham, 12 News.
Jade, thank you. In just the last 30 seconds, tonight, Phoenix police telling us that a woman shot overnight in West Phoenix has now died from her injuries. Officers say they found that woman shot inside of an area near 30th and Grand Avenues. That woman was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries this morning, but again, in just the last 30 seconds, Phoenix police telling us that woman has now died from her injuries. So far, detectives still piecing this together. They have not released her name or any details on a motive. Stay with 12 News for more updates as they become available. Meanwhile, a man is in the hospital tonight after somehow crashing into a wall this morning near 7th Street and Dunlap in the Sunny Slope neighborhood. Police say after that crash, that car went up in flames. Tonight, Phoenix police trying to piece together how this scene all happened. Tonight, Governor Katie Hobbs is sounding off on one of the state's most divisive issues. Tomorrow morning on Sunday Square Off, 12 News political journalist Bram Resnick goes one-on-one with the governor as she defends the right to rein in Arizona's empowerment scholarship accounts. In her first 2 years in office, Governor Hobbs has been a harsh critic of the private school voucher program. She says the program lacks oversight on how parents spend ESA dollars, which has been among the biggest complaints of the program.
Why haven't you been able to deliver on your pledges regarding ESAs?
The Republicans have made it abundantly clear that they're not willing to concede on this issue. We continue to get information that shows that these ESAs are unaccountable, that they're breaking the budget, and with that data, we were able to get some reform that closed loopholes and that provided the same safety standards for kids in private school that use ESAs as kids in public school.
Also, the governor defending what many now calling a very poor performance by President Joe Biden in Thursday's debate against former President Donald Trump. You can watch that complete interview first thing tomorrow morning on Sunday Square Off at 8 o'clock right here on 12 News. Meanwhile, tomorrow marking 1 month until the Arizona primary, and tonight we're getting you ready with some important dates to keep in mind. Monday, July 1st is the last day to register to vote. July 3rd is the first day of early voting and when early ballots will start to hit your mailbox. Voters will have until July 19th to request an early ballot. July 23rd is the deadline to return it. July 26th is the last day to vote early in person. Make sure you get all of those dates on your calendar.